Hey, what's going on, everybody? This video right here is going to be part two, basically just recapping with Bitcoin real shortly here, and then we're going to jump into the altcoins. But basically, the video got cut out a little bit. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch that video first. I basically go over the two ideas, which means, right, we're just going to shortly recap. And I didn't even get to really talk about the second idea, so bear with me here. So basically, I'm looking at this basically as a fractal here, right? So we had a WXYXZ, WXYXZ, okay? This is a triple combo correction. Nobody could have anticipated this. Remember, this is not crypto's fault, okay? This is not Bitcoin. This is not the alt market. This is a global liquidity event. Look at Japan. This is the biggest crash since 1987, I think. Black Monday, okay? This is a massive systematic situation here, okay? Not just for crypto, but for the whole markets. Crypto got affected because crypto is a high risk asset and people are selling off their crypto to cover their margin calls, okay? So if you have $10 million and you're long in the stock market with a lot of leverage, and then you got basically wiped out and now you're underwater, and basically you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait until the market bounces back, but then time continues to elapse and then you need a margin call and you have nothing to cover that loss. What do? They liquidate your position. So then how do you make up for that liquidated position? You sell off your gold, your silver, your crypto, your this, your that, you're all, you basically are trying to cover your butt, right? So the reason why we got this dump here is because people are selling their Bitcoin to cover their losses. This is a liquidation event. And these events happen very, 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 very fast. But they offer an incredible buying opportunity, right? Now, how do we know this is not a reversal and we just broke out to the downside and now we're going to go down? Well, we're going to talk about that. So basically, in my first video, I basically said this is a WXYXZ, okay? But I didn't tell you my second idea, and I'm going to jump into that just in a minute. But let me explain something here. If you really, really, really want to panic and sell out of crypto, which I don't recommend at all, but I would wait until we actually come back. You notice how we dumped all the way down and then we had a retracement. This was a global shutdown. This was C19. This was one of the biggest events in human history, right? I mean, you had the price of oil going negative. That was a huge moment in history, okay? So there was a lot of fear, so much fear, right? We could have been locked down for 10 years. People didn't know, right? But what really happened? It was a liquidation event, right? And then once everything subsided, then what did people do? You had guys like Warren Buffett buy the dip because they don't get scared, right? They have conviction in what they do. So they bought the dip, and look what happened. We went to the moon, right? So essentially what I would do here is I would wait. Let me actually zoom in a little bit, right about there. And what I would do is maybe this has more downside. Maybe it has to go down to 47K, maybe even 44K, right? But whenever it's finished, I think it's going to be finished soon. Again, I think we're going into a fourth wave. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we still need 5, and we'll touch on that, right? The count has changed because it's much more impulsive, okay? So but essentially what I would do is I would wait until it came back here. I believe we're going to get a retracement, just how like this was a retracement. So then this is where the true test is not where we are now. The true test will come when we come back and we retest this, just like how we retested this and retested this, right? So when we get back here to about that 60K area, that's when we decide, do we go up or do we go down? Okay, this is going to be the big moment, right? So hit subscribe, don't miss it, because we're going to be tracking this wave. Now, did I predict that this massive thing was going to happen? No. Did anybody predict it? I'm sure maybe a few people did, but nobody could have predicted the velocity and sort of how this all unfolded. I mean, this was an event. This is not a technical thing. This is more of like a C19. This is a liquidation event, right? Because we had the setup, right? We had the ABC, we had the 5-wave move. It looked like we were getting another ABC pullback, and we were going to go into that third wave. But that's when things just cascaded down, okay? Now, I thought we had a good chance at breaking to the upside. But now, since we broke into the downside, there's no sense of complaining about it and saying boo-hoo, right? So what do? We have to figure out what it is, right? And what I think it is, again, is some kind of WXYXZ. Okay, so we're basically flagging out in here. Remember, these are overlapping each other from an impulsive move, right? So I still believe this is going to go to the upside, right? So these are really, really, really good prices, in my opinion. So this is where I'm personally going a little bit heavier than I probably should, but I think this is a good moment, right? Now, I still think we're going to get a 4 and a 5, but we'll attack that when we get there. So what's the second idea? Well, basically the second idea is that we're going to go back down into reaccumulation. So you've heard me talk about this a lot, which is a rise, crash, retrace. We go down into reaccumulation, we go sideways, and then we blast off. Okay, so the same thing here. We have a rise, crash, we go up into a retracement. If this is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then that means this is an ABC, and we still have to come down into reaccumulation, just like we did over here, right? And then we go essentially sideways. So between 40 and 30K, I would imagine, right? Between 30 and maybe 45, 47K, right around there, right? Same thing that happened kind of, yeah, over here. We went into reaccumulation, okay? So essentially, this would be, right, a rise, crash, retrace. We go down in reaccumulation, then we blast off. So, but then what would be the count? What would be the count? Because now it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is it? Now, my friends, this is, I know you're not gonna like it when I say it, but this would actually make things even more bullish. It's like, what? How dare he say that? How dare he say that it's more bullish? This is supposed to be very, very bearish, right? You know, a lot of people don't want to hear bullish stuff right now. They want to hear bearish stuff right now because, you know, it's not a good last few days, right? I mean, we've been getting pretty much beat up a lot. But what this means is, if we did come down, right? So essentially, what it would be is a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we would be going down in the third, and then we would get 4, 5, 4, 5, something like that. And then we would kind of go sideways a little bit, build a base, and then we would start to go up very, 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 very impulsively. So that would be the main idea, okay? And what idea would that be? Well, now, this is the cool part, guys. This is the grand finale. Ready? This is the big, big grand finale. If this account occurs, which I don't think it is, but if it did, then this is no longer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But instead, this is a 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh my God. That is huge. Why? Because now, if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, then that means we haven't gotten the third wave yet. And if we haven't gotten the third wave, then that means we still need to get it, right? So this would be the third wave. But then we would still need a 4 and we would still need a 5. So if we suffer for the next 6 to 8 months, going as far as maybe up to 9, 10 months, if we suffer, then that means we're going to get another third wave and another fifth wave. Because right now, we're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then it's done. It's over, right? Bitcoin gets to 80 to 100K, it's done. And then we go into our bear market. But if we crash down here and we go into reaccumulation, that's going to extend the bull market, because now this is no longer a third wave. This is a 1, 2, 1, 2. Now we still need 3 and 4 and 5. And since this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, we still need another 4 and a 5. It would be the most. We could probably be looking at $200,000 to $250,000, okay, worth of per Bitcoin here. So basically, you would have all of this is wave 1. Now we're going down into wave 2. Then we get wave 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, so yeah, it's it's kind of one of those things, right? So that's the deal, right? So we have two ideas. This is very, very, very important. There are two ideas on the table. Both of them are extremely bullish, but they are also extremely bearish depending how you look at it from a time perspective. So again, I'm going to get into the altcoins. I'm going to get into Theta. Oh my God, XRP, I can't even believe it. Oh my God, my goodness. XRP is the only one that never even broke the low. I mean, everything else is just dumping. But look at XRP. XRP made a higher low. Wow, that's insane, right? And we're going to talk about that. And that could mean what? Why the hell did XRP not make a new low? Why? Everything else did. And XRP is notorious for getting killed in circumstances like this. Why? Maybe because of the lawsuit. Maybe because there are guys that know something that's coming very, 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 very soon that's going to save this market. We need a miracle. What kind of miracle? We need a miracle to get us the hell out of here, guys. If this is a triple combo correction and we're down here in the dumps, maybe we got a little bit lower. But what's going to save us? What's going to save us? The Fed. Number one. But also, we need an event. What other event could save us? The XRP lawsuit. And you can say, yeah, but that's tiny. How's that going to save Bitcoin? It's going to save the altcoins. Why? Because if all the altcoins need is a big 5-wave reversal, right? And they need something to kick off that reversal. Now, obviously, liquidation events can do so. But if there was some sort of ruling from Judge Torres that came out within the next month or two, right? Remember, summer ends on my birthday, which is September 21st. That's the last day of summer, and that's when Brad Garlinghouse said we should have some resolution. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's not, right? We don't know, but that's what has been suggested by them, okay? And it makes sense because XRP didn't break the low. Right? So this is really, really, really good for XRP, but also for all of altcoins, right? So we want the lawsuit. The lawsuit, right? Because I always look at ammunition. How much ammunition do we have? How much more things do we have to look forward to? How many things are priced into the market, right? So number one, we have Trump obviously about to be president, right? Pro-crypto, fire Gary Gensler, XRP lawsuit, XRP ETF, right? What else? We have regulation. That's the most important thing. Regulation. As soon as we get regulation in place, it's going to unleash a flurry of innovation and implementation, right? A utility-driven bull market. We've never even seen one of those yet, right? So we're still very, very, very early with crypto. Remember, Trump said we're going to be very, very, very happy, right? I believe it because I believe he is pro-crypto, not because he's essentially pro-crypto, but because he wants it. And he wants the power to remain in the United States. And if we don't do it, China's going to do it. Brazil's going to do it. India's going to do it, right? Other countries are going to do it. And Trump's the kind of guy who does not allow other countries to overtake, because it's going to happen regardless if the United States is on board. So you might as well be on board and be number one at it, right? So the Federal Reserve has a decision to come, right? Do we allow the market to continue to to plummet, or do we come in and do we cut rates? Right? And maybe they cut rates and maybe it's not enough. Maybe they cut it again. Maybe they cut it again. Maybe they implement QE. I think that is coming, okay? Which is which means you're basically turning the money printer on. And the only way altcoins really get a big rally, if we look at history, is what? Through quantitative easing, right? As soon as you turn that money printer on, alts go crazy. And I think that's going to happen. Now you have the inflation debacle, right? Does the Fed lower rates and have QE, but then that would kill and that would make inflation rise, which would make unemployment rise, which would really hurt the economy, right? So there's a lot of moving parts here, guys, and that's why it overtakes people's emotions and then they do the wrong thing. That's why I'm doing my channel. That's one of the biggest reasons, because I have been there, done that. I know the feeling. So this channel really is to keep people's, the reality in place here. And let's not forget why we're all here in the first place, right? I don't care what all the noise is. All I care about is the end goal, which is what? Crypto continuing to rise, crypto continuing to solve a lot of the world's problems, right? And we're not going to get into all that. But essentially, I just wanted to come out, right? I wanted it to be all in one video, but, it didn't work out that way. So essentially, right, there's two ideas, W, X, Y, X, Z, and then we go. This is our descending broadening wedge, right? And if you look at the time it took, so from here to here, that's about 150 days, right? So from here down to the bottom, that's 152 days. Perfect. Okay, so from here, we're going to go to the exact top, which is right here. Actually, I'm going to start it there. 152 days. Look at that, 148 days. It is perfect. It is in the exact vicinity we would want, right? Within a 30-day margin of error. So we had 152 days, 152 bars, or I'm sorry, 150 days. So perfect. This is exactly what we want to see. And why is that? Because remember, when we had the ABC correction, I thought this is ABC, and now this is a wave one, we're going to get a wave two, and we're going to go, right? But I always had this feeling that it wasn't long enough, because if you look from the top here, right, to the bottom, that was only 116 days. So there was always this little thing inside me that said, I don't know, it's kind of short, but it fell within the margin of error. It's not like it was a drastic 50-day change, right? It was still within like that, about that 30-day or so, right? So I felt pretty good about it, right? Obviously, we came back down. Now, again, is it crypto's fault? No, it's people covering their margin call, right? Which means what? This is good. This is healthy. This is what crypto needs. Crypto and the stock market go out and they drink and they're partying and they're having a good time and they're throwing up, right? And the next morning they feel sick. And what do? They throw up. What does that mean? They're purging themselves, right? You purge. You're getting all the nastiness out of your body. You're purging yourself, right? You're sweating it out. You're just getting it all out, okay? And that's what crypto's doing. It's basically wiping the slate clean, deleveraging all the positions, resetting the oscillators, resetting the price, causing a massive capitulation. And this is what starts bull markets. If you want to know, like, for example, the shakeout before the breakout. This is the final shakeout before the breakout. Now, people aren't convinced, right? Because people thought, okay, it was going to happen here. Right? Think about it psychologically. Oh, it's going to happen here. And then, oh, it didn't do it. Now, okay, now it's going to happen here. Oh, now it didn't. So now people are getting complacent thinking it's never going to do it. Right? But it actually, if you look right here, we talked about this, I want to say quite a bit this correction. Now, not being sort of in this placement, but we did talk about the possibility of this being some kind of WXYXZ. But I ignored it after we got this 5-wave leg, right? When we got the 5-leg wave, I sort of ignored it. And, because you could see, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking at this as A, B, and C, right? But then it just continued to dump. Now, again, nobody could expect that, right? But anyway, what does all this mean for altcoins, right? What could we expect now from the altcoin market? Well, let's start here with XRP. There is nothing wrong with XRP, right? XRP did exactly what it's supposed to do, right? We came all the way from here. We came all the way down to the 786. I mean, XRP landed at 43 cents. Now it's back at, 48 cents? So, man, that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. Okay? So, what's the whole idea for XRP? Well, I'm still looking at this. There's nothing wrong with it, right? I'm actually looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we still need 5, right, for a C leg. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A. We talked about this being a complex B, and now we're working on our C leg, so A, B, C. Now, the reason why it's so long and exuberant is because, again, there's a margin call across the markets, and people have to sell. They don't want to sell. They don't want to sell their Bitcoin. They don't want to sell their XRP. They don't want to sell, but they have to. Why? Because they have to cover their losses. So that's what happens. So it's not like people did it because they want to take profit and sell. No, they did it because they had to, which is even more bullish because now it sort of resets the price bullishly. So yes, I'm very, very, very bullish. And you can call me crazy and say, man, how dare you be bullish right now? You would have to be insane to be bullish. But look, when I'm going to get bearish, guys? I'll tell you exactly. When does Crypto Brandon turn bearish? I'll tell you. Ready? If XRP comes up in 3 waves and it gets rejected here, and then it starts going down, threatening the low, that's when I say, okay, something's wrong. Because now it's not a margin call. It's not a liquidation event. Now it's cascading into a sell-off, into people calling up their brokers, calling up their 401k, saying, get me the hell out, right? This is panic, panic, panic. And it causes a snowball effect. Now, that hasn't happened yet, right? That hasn't happened. But we're going to know if that happens based on how we retrace this move. Same goes for Bitcoin, right? Again, if you draw a line here and Bitcoin comes back up, does it go out or does it break down? This is where I turn bearish, right? If we start turning around. I'm not going to turn bearish now. I'm actually bullish, right? Because again, when you look back at what happened the last time, this is exactly what happened, right? You just draw a line right here, right? And we dumped all the way down. It looked like it was, everybody was bearish. Nobody's buying. It's going down, down, down. What happened? It came all the way back to the line. And that's when it made the decision. Do I go up from here or do I go down from here? But no matter what, it's going to go up to retest that. It has to, right? It has to. It has to do that. Now, if this continues to bleed even more, and we start going way down here, right? If we break that low, then I'm not going to think that anymore, right? But as long as we stay above 44K, I'm still expecting a retracement. See, if we come down and we break this, then I would expect it to come back up and retest this. And then that would be the decision up or down. Okay. But right now, I'm expecting it to come up in here around that 60K area to decide up or down. Okay. So that's the whole deal. So, are you guys doing okay out there? Comment below. How are you perceiving all this? I really, really want to know what you guys think, right? Because again, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of guts, a lot of conviction, a lot of hardship, a lot of ups, a lot of downs to be a crypto hodler, okay? We are in a new asset class. This is a brand new space. We don't even have regulation. You can say, yeah, it's been around a long time. Yeah, because the central bankers, the deep state, they don't want regulations. Why? Because then it legitimizes it, and then they can't do their backdoor dealings, right? So, again, you have to have the conviction and the long-term vision of what crypto is. Now, you can have these big dumps, and they're going to come, and we always know crypto dumps, okay? So if you look, let's take a look at what the dump was. So from here all the way down, we're looking at a 33% dump. Okay, perfect. So have we had 33% dumps before? Yes, absolutely. Actually, let me get to another. Where are you at here? There we go. Sorry, my apologies here. So if we look at this from the top to the bottom, that was actually a 38% dump. So this is normal. This is normal in a bull run, guys. And let me actually turn the bull market support band on. Okay. Now, the worst thing that we did was actually break below the bull market support band, but we'll talk about that. But essentially, right, you have these moves that are pretty deep, right? And you can see it all through here. This was a big correction too. This was about that was about a 40% correction. Okay, so 40% corrections are very, very common. What was this one here? That one was approximately 40%. So look at that, 40%, 40%, 40%. So where are we at now, right? We're about 30%, 33%. So, maybe a little bit more, but it is what it is, right? So essentially, this is crypto, right? And if you're not expecting something crazy, right? Like I talked about shenanigans. What kind of shenanigans are they going to pull? Like I was saying, look, it's an ABC. We had a 5-wave move. It looks almost too perfect. It looks like textbook. It looks perfect, right? So I'm thinking, what kind of shenanigans are they going to pull? They can't make it easy. They can't make it too easy, right? They're always going to pull something out of their hat, right? And now, right, this sort of liquidation event was actually probably what the market needed, right? It sort of purged out all the bad money and sort of reset everything. So let's see how it continues to be. Now I'm still expecting the bull market support band here is starting to turn over. I want to see a correction back here. Do we get back above it or do we get back below it? This is the time to panic right here. Not now, later, right? So let's go to the altcoins right now. Just again, WXYXZ go. Still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's still the main idea. That's still my main idea is a WXYXZ. Now, the original idea was an ABC with a 5-wave move with an ABC pullback. But if that failed, then I'm looking at it as a WXYXZ. If that fails, then I'm looking at this coming down in a third, a 4 and a 5, a 4 and a 5, reset here, go sideways, and then go. And this would be a 1, 2, 1, 2 with a mega third. And then that would get us probably up to 80, 100K. Then we flag out from 100 down to 80 or so, right? Or actually 60, and then have that 5th wave to the upside. So we flag out just like how we're flagging out here, right? So if we So again, if this flag fails and we fall straight through, right, then I'm looking at this as a 1-2, a 1-2, which is even more bullish, right? Okay, so 30 minutes is done. Now let's jump into the altcoins here. Now I started with XRP. So I'm not going to really spend a lot of time on XRP because there's nothing wrong with it. It looks still really good. Now, what's the main idea for XRP? Well, it's always been what? The liquidity grab, right? So you have this point here, right? Which is, we're comparing it to this point here. And then you have essentially your liquidity grab, right? And then you have a little liquidity grab up here as well. You can see how big it actually was. You can see right there, right? And so essentially we're expecting that big mega impulse. Now I still believe that's coming, right? Because again, we still have a lot of ammunition, but essentially we have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, liquidity grab, blast off. Same thing. Nothing's changed. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, liquidity grab, right? Waiting for this thing to blast off. We have 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. That's a A, B, C, D, E. This is an Elliott wave triangle similar to how this one was, okay? We're getting near the apex just like we were here. So I'm expecting a blast off. Remember, if they're going to blast off the market, they need everybody off the bull train, okay? They can't everybody have, on the train making money. They need to kick as much people as they can off to shake out all the weak hands in order for them to drive up prices, right? That's why I say only the strong survive. Only the people with the most conviction will do the best, right? They're going to do the best. So when I look at the current time frame, I'm still looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with an A. We have a B, and now we have a C. This was a sort of like a flat here, right? And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had divergence between the fourth and the fifth. We have a big impulse, right? Maybe we have an A, B, C pullback, boom, 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 and then we go, right? And I'm still expecting that. Here's our base. Here's a second base. We're building, right? We had our liquidity grab. So everything's looking really good here for XRP. So there's not really much to say about it. Now, on the small time frames, what I would look for here, unfortunately, we did break below the bull market support band, but I want to see it come back up. So maybe this is 1, 2, 3, we get 4 and 5, and then we pull back up in 3, or we're going to build a base up here and maybe go up in 5. So I want to see what happens when we retrace, right? Because again, the markets are drastically oversold, okay? I haven't even looked at the RSI on Bitcoin. Yeah, look at that. It's drastically oversold, okay? So let's move to total 3. So this is the big one here, total 3, because this represents all of the altcoin market. Okay, obviously we came up into the bull market support band and bam, we got rejected. So we can get rid of that. But essentially, I'm looking at this exactly the same as Bitcoin. Now, you can see total 3 broke the low here. So do we have, we definitely, okay, we have bullish divergence here on the, not on this chart though, okay. But we do have hidden bullish divergence. So you can see from here to here, right? But essentially I'm looking at this as a flagging out, right? We're flagging out in a massive downward sort of channel here, right? As long as we stay in the confines of this channel, everything is still very bullish, right? If you take the length of this wave up to here, right, and I match it to about right there, look at that. It's actually perfect. It's right on the money. So this is exactly where we should be, guys. This is the same. Now, the reason why this felt much worse is because of how fast it went down, but and then also what's going on in the stock market as well, right? So what am I looking at? I'm still very, very bullish. I don't know what else to say, right? This is a 1 2. We have a 1 2 3 4 5. So 1 2, all of this is 3. We're flagging out for wave 4, and we're going to get a wave 5. Okay? Now, if this breaks to the downside, then I'm looking at it as a 1 2 1 2. We come back down and we back test this area way down at $400 billion, right? We come up like this, we back test, and then we go higher, right? So look, the direction is ultimately we're going to go up, right? Because again, if this thing fails to the upside, then I'm going to look at it as us going into what? Reaccumulation. Typically, we don't need a lot of reaccumulation because look how much of accumulation we've already had. We spent a lot of time down here, okay? So if this is a rise, crash, retrace, we're going down into reaccumulation, and then we go sideways. You see the base here? We're going to build another base on top of this base and then go to the moon. So that's a 1 2 1 2, and then we have a mega third wave. If you want the highest possible crypto price on planet Earth, then you're going to be cheering for it to continue going down, and going sideways for the next 6 months to a year, right? Or, again, this is a 1 2 1 2, and then we get a big 3, right? And then we get a 4 and then a 5, okay? So that's kind of what we're looking at, and that gets us all the way up to, at least $1 trillion to $2 trillion. Huge, right? Just for the altcoins. Now, if you're like me and don't want to have to go through all that, then I would much rather have a 1 2 3 4, and now let's get 5, and we get an extended 5th, right? And then we get sort of the bear market here, right? Versus going into a bear market now and then shooting off later. So it's all about where we are, right? So what would the count be then? Well, the count is essentially the same for Bitcoin, right? So let me show you right here. Basically, this is a triple combo correction. This is very bullish, right? We have a W, X, Y, X, and Z, and it's clean. It's really, really clean. It's really clean actually. So I really, really like it. It's looking really good here for a potential reversal, right? We're back down to the back test level, right? There's a lot of support. We're drastically oversold. We had a WXYXZ. We had a very strong Z. The length of this and the length of this is about the same. The length of this and the length of this is the same, right? So if I take, what about from here all the way down to here, right? From that high, and then I take it right about there, that's exactly where we are. So all of these waves are about the same, right? So if I take from the top to the bottom, okay, and then I take let's go from the top to the bottom, and I go from the top to the bottom, you can see they're all about the same. They're all about the same, and that's exactly what you want in a triple correction, okay? So if I take this one and I put it over here, and I take this one and I put it over here, you can see, look at that. We're all, guys, that could have been the bottom right there, right? So don't let everybody fool you into thinking we're going to keep going down, because anytime you have a big, massive capitulation, a big crash, what do people think? It's going to crash more. Just like when we break out, right? When we break out, what do I say? Oh, we need a pullback, right? The same thing. If this is a breakout, we need a pullback. So when is the time to panic? Not now, right? The time to panic is, let me draw this. How come it's not working here? 1 second. There we go. Essentially, right, I'm looking for this to come back and retest let me just put the fib up here. Or actually, sorry, I did that the wrong way. I was having some internet trouble. My trading view wasn't working. My other apps weren't working as well. So, okay. So I want to see this thing come back and retest 50%, at least 50% to 618. Now, once we get back up here, right? This is what I'm telling you, right? This is what I believe. This doesn't mean it's what's going to happen. I could be wrong, right? But this is what I believe. And what I believe is that now that the market revealed itself, now that we got the liquidation event, now that, the margin call and all that stuff, right? Either number one, it's going to get much worse, which, it's always possible it can get much worse, right? And I've always said that there's got to be some kind of black swan, deep state, stock market, Armageddon under Joe Biden, right? That was always my hunch. But, things weren't looking like that. And all of a sudden it happens very fast. But even if it's going to get worse, right, I'm still wanting to see it come back up. And if depending what happens in here, we can either crash and burn, or we can have a nice bullish correction and then a continuation to the upside. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for, and that would take us right back to the top of this, right? Because this is a good downward resistance line, resistance, right? And we're still holding support. We're still technically at a good level. So we want to see this thing bounce and get back to the top here. And depending if we collapse down or if we have a three-way pullback and break up, this is the moment. Not now. This is going to be the big moment, okay? That's going to decide what the fate of crypto is, right? So, but yeah, that's basically it for total 3 here. So again, real fast, the big idea here is this is a WXYXZ. So the original idea was obviously, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a ABC, right? And this is an impulse, and we got a three-way pullback. Let's go, right? But man, it's doing that same thing again. Weird internet right now. So essentially, sorry about that. The internet something's going on here. So, I was looking at this too. The same kind of way, right? Where we're flagging out in here. Same kind of thing. We're flagging out, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's still the idea. Again, if we come down, it's a 1, 2, 1, 2. So if we look at the small time frames and see what's going on here, this is where, we actually got a pretty decent bounce here. Let's see, the market went up about 10%, right? So the market jumped, from 470 billion all the way to 516 billion. That's a lot of money right there. Now, is this a dead cat bounce? I mean, it could be, but I think it's almost finished here. So what I'm thinking is that if this is a WXYXZ, then you don't want 5, you want 3, right? So if this turns into 5, then I'm going to look at it differently. But essentially, I think it's done. I think the bottom is in. Now, I don't know how many people are saying the bottom is in, but I think it could be in, right? So there's a good chance. So let's move on to Theta before my internet really takes a crap. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with the internet, but I'm hearing a lot of people are having issues in my area. But okay, let's try to do this quickly. yeah, when you need the internet the most, that's when it takes a crap on you. Let's go to the weekly chart here for the price of Theta, our beloved Theta. What is going on here? Okay, so obviously we're looking at this, right, as a Wyckoff area with a retracement. So we had a retracement back to the upside, and we got that perfectly dead on, right? So now this is 3, this is 3, and it looks like this is 1, 2, this is a flat here in wave 4 and 5. So we have an A, B, C. It's very, very big. I don't really like it a lot, but that's what we have to work with here. So actually, let me go to a little bit smaller time frame. So the idea here with Theta is that, we were looking at this as an A, B, C, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in C, right? And then we looked at this as a 5-wave move, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we wanted to see an A, B, C pullback, but it kept going and going and going and going and going, and it took the low, right? And it's not Theta's fault. It's not crypto's fault. Like I said, this is a massive margin call. I mean, just look at the stock markets around the world. Look at what's going on all over the world. I mean, Trump just tweeted out, the stock market is crashing. I told you this would happen under Joe Biden, blah, 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 right? And, again, people need to be waking up about the financial system. The financial system is really the last nail in the coffin to wake people up. And my question is, has it begun, or is this, is this going to get a lot worse, right? That's what we don't know. Now, I think, when we look at crypto, like the total 3 in Bitcoin, it still looks really, really good, okay? So, obviously, we had this big dump here. So now, the way I'm counting it is that this, right, we know this is A and B, okay? So we're just trying to figure out the C leg, right? So if this is 1, 2, and then all of this is wave 3, right? No, I'm sorry, all of this is wave 3, and this is A, B, C. So that's the big thing that was missed on my part, was knowing that this is a flat, right? So this is a classic expanding flat. So we have A, B, and C, okay? So now, essentially, right, we want to finish this out. 1, 2, 3. Maybe we get 4, and then we get one more low for 5. So that's currently how I'm looking at it. Now, that's a huge ABC, right? So this would be A, B, with an extended C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in the fifth, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So that's a huge ABC. So again, remember how I talked about Bitcoin being the ultimate bullish scenario. What would have to happen? Well, it would have to crash all the way down. Well, guess what? That's exactly what Theta did. And now we can say that this is a 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? This is now, provided we have to stay above. We could not, I mean, really, let's see, did it break the low? No, it came very, 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 very close to breaking the low. We actually got all the way down to 88 cents, 89 cents or so. Wow. So we actually got a pretty decent bounce out of there. But essentially, we don't want to break below this wave 2 here. So we really, really, really need this to be the bottom, okay? So essentially what that means is, right, because originally it was supposed to be 1, 2, 3, and then we get 4, and then we get 5, right? But now it looks like a big 1, 2, 1, 2. And now we're back down in the sort of in the top here of this, basically our support zone, the top of our Wyckoff zone, right? So, you know, basically it comes down to two ideas again. And so, you know, here's the entire chart of theta, right? And you can see if we go back and kind of look, you know, we had something similar here, right? And this was more kind of like a triple combo as well. So we had a W, X, Y, X, and Z, right? So we essentially had this impulse to the upside, right? And then we had this correction, but I don't like it, and it's not technically valid because we broke the low, right? But you know, it kind of is what it is, right? W, X, Y, X, Z. So if we look at it from that perspective, you know, I don't really like it too much, but let's see here. Essentially, so we'd have 1, 2, 3, so that's W. We would have 1, 2, 3, so that's X. And then you would have 1, 2, 3, that's Y. And then that's X and that's Z. Actually, I would put the Y here, and the X is a flat. Okay, yeah. See, I like that a lot. So instead of it being an ABC, we have 3 in W, we have 3 in X, and I guess you can argue that's 3 in Y, and then we have 3 and another X, and now we have 3 in Z. So this could be the bottom, guys. This could be the buying opportunity of a theta lifetime. Or we have the other alternative. So it really comes down to two worlds, right? Do we have the Joe Biden stock market deep state collapse, right, where it wakes everybody up, you know, the stock market and the bond market, right? Basically the financial system, some kind of, you know, quote unquote cyber attack, black swan event, right? And then, you know, Trump comes in and saves the day. I don't really like it. I don't like it at all, but, you know, that's just the kind of how it sets it up. And I don't think he's going to save anything. Really, I think we're going to have, you know, crypto is the one that's going to save, not Trump, right? My allegiance is with crypto at the end of the day. So, so that's idea number one. Idea number two, this is some kind of C19 liquidation margin event style where we basically have a big reset in price and then we skyrocket to the upside. So what do I think it's going to be? I think this is a bullish situation. You know, when I look at Theta, it doesn't look as bullish as what Bitcoin, you know, even maybe XRP or especially Total 3. But again, if Total 3 is bullish, Theta is going to be as well. So if this is a 1 and this is an ABC flat and this is a 1 and this is a WXYXZ for wave 2, right? So we have a 1 and a 2. Then we should either you know, start building a base in here and then start going up in 5. But if we go back up in 3, you know, when we get back up in here, that's when we know, are we going to go down or are we going to go up? So we don't really know until we get back into the retracement levels, right? Because I believe we're going to get back into this yellow box somehow, some way. Okay, so that's really where the make it or break it. Everybody's panicking saying we're going down now, but no, it's all about once this finishes, maybe it's got a little bit more to go, but once it finishes and we start making a little base down here and then we start coming back to the upside, right? That's going to be the point. Do we have an ABC pullback continuation, or do we get up here and we reverse and we continue going down? So this is going to be the big moment. You know, same thing for Bitcoin. This is also going to be the big moment for Bitcoin here, right? When we get back, maybe this isn't finished yet, but when we ultimately get back to here, are we going to go up or are we going to go down? That's going to be the big moment, guys. Same thing with, you know, I mean, let's see, what's silver doing? So silver also took a big hit here, but it's also very bullish. You got an ABC, right? So, you know, it's setting up for higher prices. Now, if you know precious metals are dumping and they have stood the test of time, then you know This is just a global this is a global event, right? Which affects all of the assets, right? So, you know, it starts off in the stock market and then it sort of bleeds into the crypto and the precious metals. But then you know, once that stabilizes, I think that's when crypto really starts to roar back, right? So again, even the same thing with the total 3. If we get back up in here, what's going to happen, right? This is going to be the big area, right? So wait for this, and that's why you know, I'm hoping by that time I'll have, you know, at least a handful of members, right? And then I can do also a members video and get more into detail of what's going on here. But essentially, that's all I have for you today. Let's go back to Theta again. Now, we didn't talk about the second idea here for Theta. So what would be the sort of that super bearish idea, right? Because, you know, if this is not a WXYXZ 1212, and then I want to see it get back in up here and then sort of flag out and then continue to break out, right? So we have a 1 2 1 2, we have a big 3, and then we get to a 4 up near the all-time high, and then we go into that fifth wave. That's still my main idea, right? And that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But if that idea doesn't work, then what are we thinking here? Well, then I'm thinking that this is a rise, crash. We went into a retracement. Now we're coming down, and now we're going back into reaccumulation. So rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. We'll go sideways, and then we blast off. Basically, that's kind of the same idea, except it's a little bit more depressing, if you will. So that's basically, you know, basically how it is. Now, the worst possible idea is 1 2 3 4 5, right? Actually 1 2 3 4 5, and then this is an A, this is a B, and this is a C. So this is a flat, right? And basically we have an A, we have a B flat, and now this is a 1 2, and now we're going down in the third. We get 4, and then we come down and get 5. And what that would be is a monster ABC. Okay, so what we would have then is a 1 2, right? We would have a 3, and then we would have A, B, C for 4, and then we would go up and get 5. So that's always been the idea, right? I've always said if we break the low, this is going to be an ABC. If we come down and go sideways, it's going to be reaccumulation. But since what we had today, now at least we know what it isn't, right? And what it isn't is that ABC basically being a fourth wave and then a fifth wave, right? Because we've known for a while that this is a 1 2 1 2, right? So it's all about narrowing down the possibility so that we know exactly what it is. So that's basically it, right? So I want to see this thing bottom out. And by the way, we have 5 waves also, right? And we have, let's see, we don't have bullish divergence. Let's see. Okay, so we have 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so we have essentially 5. So if it's a 5-wave move, a diagonal instead of a WXYXZ, then I want to see a 3-wave pullback. If we get something like this, right, then chances are we're probably going to go down. But if we get a 5-wave move with an ABC pullback, chances are we're going to go up, right? So this could be an A, this could be a B, and this could be a C. So we didn't really talk too much about that. So essentially what we have is, that's not right, is basically all of this is A, then we're going to get B, and then we're going to come down and get C, right? So what we would have is, we would have, this is 3, and then we would get 3 here, and then we would either get 3 again, or we would get most likely get 5 like this. Okay, so that's another idea. And basically all that is a more complex retracement. So you have 3, 3, 5, right? Which basically is A, B, and C. Okay, so we have an A, B, C. So that's the other idea, right? So actually, let me narrow it down and give us the final conclusion here. So idea number 1 for theta. This is a WXYXZ. We're almost finished. And now we're going to start moving back up. Once we get here, then we can decide, are we going to go up or are we going to go down for a C leg? So either this is going to be A, B, C, and then we're going to go, or this is finished, we're going to get up here, we're going to consolidate, flag out, and then continue to go. So again, all of it happens at the crossroads in the retracement levels, right? The decisions don't get met in the crash. The decision doesn't get met in the pump. The decision becomes a reality in the retracement level, okay? So that's where we got to wait for. Now, if we fast forward to the election, it seems like, so where's the election at? It's in November. So I'll put it right about here until about January 20th is where they usually take office, okay? So this is actually perfect because when we look here and we just draw this along, this is exactly where I'm expecting it to go, right? So okay, so now it's starting to make sense, right? Because if this is a 5-wave leg and we get a 3-wave pullback, right, or even a 5-wave move, this is all, we're basically getting to the retracement by the time the election takes place. So mark my words, right here, right now, that's probably what's going to happen, is we're going to have a retracement back up to the breakdown point. Same thing with Bitcoin, right? And then the election occurs. So either they steal the election, Kamala Harris gets in, we crash and burn, or Trump gets in and we go to the moon. And it's all going to boil down to what happens right in here. So actually, let me go to Bitcoin for a minute. And what is, yeah, that's the same thing. Look at that. That's exactly, maybe it happens sooner. I mean, that's still quite a ways away here. So let me put November somewhere right around there and right around there. So, you know, if I put this right about there, and let's say, you know, we kind of correct in here, we get some divergence, maybe we're not finished yet, kind of build a little base, and then we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right around election time, right? And then Trump becomes president, right? Or let's say we get up there sooner and then we start correcting in here, waiting for the results. We start flagging out A, B, C, right? And then they say, okay, Trump's the new president. Bam, we blast off, right? Or Joe Biden or Kamala's president. Bam, we tank. So again, it's all going to come down to what happens in here. Okay, so there's nothing to worry about now until we get to that point. For me, I'm actually accumulating, right? This is not the time to sell. This is the time to be buying. This is not financial advice. Again, I could be totally wrong, but just to summarize real quick, XRP is totally fine. Don't really need to even talk about it, right? You know, the fact that XRP didn't break the low tells me a lot, right? We just had a massive margin call, a massive capitulation event, right? So the fact that XRP didn't break, now it still might not be over with, right? So let's, you know, if XRP does break the low here and comes down, then what would it be, right? So you could have like 3 and then 3 and then 3 down, right? So it could be an even more complex. But again, I'm not even going to get into that right now, because essentially, let's go to like Filecoin here. So you could see like Filecoin, it got all the way back down to the low. Look at that. It even took out the liquidity here. So you can see this was 1, 2. All of this is 3, 4, and 5, right? Because we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But 1, 2, all of this is 3, 4, and 5, right? So now we want to see a three-way pullback. We want to see a retracement. Either we're going to reverse out of here or we're going to retrace. But either way, I think we're going to get back up into here. And again, do we break out or do we go down? That's going to be the big tell, okay? So as far as now, I'm still looking at this as a very, 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 very bullish 1, 2, right? And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have another 1, 2, right? It still didn't break this low. So we want to see a massive third wave come out of there. And I think Trump becoming president, I think the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, the XRP lawsuit, the XRP ETF, right? Regulations, Trump becoming president, right? Firing Gary Gensler, right? Appointing pro-crypto politicians to get the work done. I think it's going to ultimately, because everybody's scared right now, right? Everybody's in panic. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, deep state, right? Obama, taking over and destroying everything, right? And not just them. They're the puppets, right? But it's really the Federal Reserve, right? The Federal Reserve, the central banking system. So how does the Fed respond, right? They have no choice but to lower rates and to implement more QE, which is ultimately going to what? It's going to cause crypto to continue to pump here. Because remember, we've been falling for quite a while, right? We've been falling since back here in March. So March, April, May, June, July, August. That's 6 months. So we've been going down 6 months, and we have a 5-wave leg. So this is the bottom. And if it's not the bottom, then we're going to know. How are we going to know? Because if this is a 5-wave move, we still need it to go up into 3, come back up here and get rejected, right in all these areas, and then continue down. So that's where we're going to find out. Let's look at VeChain here. I'm just trying to look at some altcoins here to see if we can see anything. See, there's nothing wrong with VeChain. VeChain's still looking good. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or WXYXZ, or this could be an A, we come up in a B, then we get C, right? But regardless, I'm thinking upside is coming here soon. Very soon, if not already. What other coin here? CRV. Man, CRV took a big dump. It actually made another low. I got stopped out on that one. I thought it had a good potential. It turned out not so much. Obviously, nothing can escape the grasp of a big liquidation event. But I'll tell you what, it has very, 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 very strong bullish divergence here on CRV. So we'll see. Let's see, ADA here. ADA still, not too bad, right? I mean, it still hasn't broken. As long as it doesn't break these lows, we're still in a good situation, right? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then we have 1, 2, 3. And then we have 1, 2, 3. And then we have 1, 2, 3. So you could say W, X, and Y, right? So we have basically this leg and this. Actually, let me take all that off the screen here. So we actually have this wave and this wave kind of about the same. So if I just take that over here, yeah, look at that, it matches up perfectly. So this is our wave, this is our wave, and this is our connector. This is the connector. So boom, boom, boom. So that's a 3-wave move there, right? So we're impulsing to the upside, 3 move to the, now if we come back up and then we make another low, that's where we're going to find out, right? So we want to continue breaking out. So it's all going to come to a head right there. And by the way, on Theta, I forgot to show you this real quick. So let's put on our area right there. Okay, so this could be a big head. So we have a shoulder, right? We come down, we made a big head. Let's come back up and make another shoulder, right? So that ballpark would get us back where? Exactly into the retracement levels at $2.90. So it's a little bit very much premature to even talk about that, but that's what I'm thinking here. So yeah, let's see if there's anything else we can take a look at before we wrap it up here. Wow, QNT had a pretty big dump as well. Looks like a fourth wave. 1, 2, or actually A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it looks done, and you know, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have an A, or actually, boom, 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 and then boom. So very deep correction there. Look at it, could be worse. Look at ZIL as a new all-time low here, right? Let's look at Zcash. Wow, look at Zcash. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. What the? What? No. That is that tells me something very good, guys. If dude, Zcash didn't even get affected. Look at that. What the heck? Oh my God. Look at that. Is insane. That thing went up 50, 60%. That is very, very, very bullish. Very, very bullish. That doesn't mean go out and buy Zcash. That just means, hey, if Zcash can do it, then it could be others. Others can start doing it as well. Let's, yeah, you could see all the bullish divergence in there, right? Wow. You can see the three-way move, right? Look, basically you have all this, and then you have an A, B, C, right? And now you're building a base down in here. Wow, that's crazy. So Zcash might be one of those big winners, right? Because eventually I think it's going to come back to the retracement levels, back at least to $85, $90. Let's see, did Monero do that? Not as bad, but look at Monero. Monero didn't even get affected. Like, nothing happened to Monero or the privacy coins, right? I mean, they barely even flinched. The privacy coins barely even flinched. I mean, it basically didn't even affect them. I thought XRP was, didn't get affected, but man, these privacy coins really. Let's see, XDC. Yeah, disaster. XDC is a disaster. And that's why I didn't want to touch this one, because of a three-way pullback. And that's exactly what I'm saying here. Look, this is a very, 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 very good example. Look at this. This is exactly what is happening now. So imagine us being here, or actually we're here, right? So we come down and we say, don't panic, don't panic. Let's wait. So we wait. We have a three-way move, and now we back up here. So we didn't have 5, we only had 3. And then we got rejected, 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 and now we're starting to go down, right? Because it all happened here. It didn't happen here. It happened here. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying wait, right? So when we look at something like, VeChain, right? Let's wait until we get back up here and then decide. Let's see, Velo. I mean, really didn't have much of a crash either. I mean, so that's pretty good. Oil. What about USDT? Dominance. This thing should have been spiked. Okay, yeah, that looks like a spike to the high here. So we had, this sort of diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that took the top out. And now we want to see it come down, and that would be very, very bullish for crypto. And again, this is another really good example of what I'm trying to explain here, right? So you put your line right here, right? And then as USDT was collapsing like this, nobody was freaking out. Or why? Because crypto, it's opposite, but let's say people were, what would you wait for? You wait for it to come back. This is the big lesson for today. Wait for it to come back, and then that's when you buy in. That's when you get out or buy in, right? So you would actually wait for a three-way pullback, continuation, or a rejection. So this is the moment. Do we break out or do we collapse? I say we collapse. But this is USD dominance, right? So that means that crypto will explode to the upside. Let's keep looking here. Uniswap. I mean, it has a three-wave shape. Boom, boom, boom. Right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a three-way pull. I mean, come on, that's bullish. So we have a 1, 2, and then we have another 1, 2. I mean, that's bullish, guys. This is bullish. And we have a three-way pullback. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Tron. I mean, Tron is just weird. Like, it's a huge cup and handle. It's still back at the all-time high. I mean, it barely even flinched here. So nothing is wrong with crypto. This is not the crypto market. This is the stock market, which basically carries over into the crypto market because, again, people have to have the margin calls, right? So Trump is down. Total 2. Let's see, total 2 here. I got to clean up these charts a little bit. Okay, so total 2 came right back down to here, right? And I mean, it could still come down a little bit further. But again, if this is going to be bad, what I'm going to wait for, let's let it fix itself, and then it's going to come back. This is my prediction. I predict that the market's going to come back, and then once we get back here, then it's going to make a decision. Are we going to go up, or are we going to come back down, then go sideways, then go up at a later day? Right? So this is where it all comes down to. So the total market cap, those are my drawings. Their drawings are still valid, saying that this is a wave 4, WXYXZ, looking pretty good. Theta BTC made a new low. Okay, let's go to Theta Fuel here. Yeah, we didn't break this low. As long as we don't break the low, we're good. So I'm still looking at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And then I want to see it come back. What happens do we get here? Do we go up or do we come down? This is where everything's going to boil down to, okay? But right now, I think it's a good buying opportunity. So we'll see. But anyways, that's about it here. Let's look at Solana real quick. Yeah, I mean, see, look at Solana didn't even really flinch. So either this is the beginning of something much bigger, where we come back up and then we come down, or we continue higher. So it all is going to boil down to here. So anyways, that'll do it for this video. Hopefully that's enough information. Definitely watch the whole thing. I'll come out with more updates as we see it. But let me just go to Bitcoin one more time and look at the small time frame here. Bitcoin dominance is pumping a little bit. Okay, so the market cap of Bitcoin, all right, so 4-hour chart. Yeah, I want to see what happens here. Either if this is a wave 4 and we get 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that could happen. Or I want to see it get back and retrace back up in here, then a 3-way pullback, then continue. But we'll get into more of that later on, right? If I just zoom in really close here, you can see we're kind of, we just had a 3-wave shape, right? So was that the fourth wave? Boom, boom, boom. And now this is a 1, this is a 2, and now we're going down, right? Or 3, and then we get 3. Maybe we come up and get 5. So 3, 3, 5. Maybe we get a bigger ABC. And then we decide, are we going to come down or go back up or flag out and go back up? So there's still a lot we have to talk about as the day rolls on, but that'll do it for real this time. I will catch you guys. Remember, none of this is financial advice. This is just my opinion. I could be totally wrong, right? So just so you understand. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What am I doing? I'm doing nothing. I'm buying, but I'm also doing nothing. I'm relaxed. I'm hanging out. I'm letting the market do its thing. We know in C19 that's exactly what happened. So let's keep things moving along, and I definitely want to see a retracement, and if we can get through that retracement. So the real work, or the real crash, hasn't even, if we're going to have a real crash, it really hasn't happened yet, because we still need a retrace, and that's where we decide, do we have a crash or a breakout? And I think that's going to boil down right through the election, and then when Trump comes in, I think it's going to be a big event. So who knows what's going to happen? This is just my opinion, so we'll see. All right, I'll do it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.